I pipe the final buttercream rosette onto Grandpa Walter's birthday cake, my fingers cramping from 4 days of precision work. The sugar-free dark chocolate frosting gleams under the kitchen lights, each decoration placed with surgical care for a man who never notices these details. The cake stand rotates one last time as I step back to survey my work-perfectly level layers, meticulously smooth sides, handcrafted fondant decorations that took me 3 attempts to get right. "Perfect," Mom whispers from behind me. She squeezes my shoulder, careful not to jostle my piping bag. "Your grandfather will love it." I nod, not trusting my voice. Sleep has been a luxury this week, 4:30 a.m. wake-ups to prep before school, afternoons spent chopping and measuring, evenings dedicated to decoration. The dining room stands ready for 21 people, my handwritten place cards marking each seat. I've memorized every dietary restriction. Sugar-free for Grandpa, gluten-free for Aunt Mary, dairy-free for Cousin Peter. "You've outdone yourself, Tess," Mom says, gesturing toward the carefully folded origami napkins and custom-printed menus. "I've never seen the house look this beautiful." The wall clock reads 4:12, 2 hours until everyone arrives, just enough time to shower and change before putting the finishing touches on the appetizers. Mom's phone rings. I wipe my hands on my apron, watching her face transform as she answers. Her smile falters, lips parting slightly, eyes widening. "You're where?" She presses the phone tighter against her ear. "I don't understand, Craig. We've been planning this for weeks." My hands freeze on the piping bag. Uncle Craig's name never signals anything good. But the food is. Mom stops, listening. Her shoulders stiffen. "Adults only? Since when?" The words slice through me. I set down the piping bag and turn away, pretending to check the oven temperature. "Let me talk to Dad," Mom demands, her voice hardening. I pretend not to listen as I arrange the appetizer platters, but each word hammers against my chest. "Walter, we've spent days preparing. Tessa made your sugar-free cake from scratch." A pause. "You figured it was easier? Easier for whom?" I keep my back turned, arranging mushroom caps in a perfect circle while my throat tightens. "The reservation was made 3 days ago?" Mom's voice drops to a whisper. "So this wasn't last minute?" Another pause, longer this time. "I see." Mom's tone turns icy. "And the charge on my business credit card for $1,156.8 was that easier too?" My hands tremble as I place the last mushroom cap. The borrowed cake turntable sits beside my creation, a tool I convinced Miss Patterson at the bakery to lend me for this special occasion. "No, Walter, no," Mom's voice cracks. "This isn't a misunderstanding." She hangs up and stares at her phone. I watch her unlock it again, thumbs moving rapidly across the screen. Her face hardens. "They're all there," she says, turning the screen toward me. "Uncle Craig's wife just posted pictures. Family dinner for Walter's birthday." Mom's voice catches. "The kids are there too, just not you." The notification pings my phone simultaneously 32 photos of smiling faces at Farwell Bistro. Younger cousins clutch cloth napkins beaming at the camera. Only Tessa the caterer has been excluded. Tessa, who spent $380 of her bakery job savings on specialty ingredients. Tessa, who practiced piping techniques for weeks. I turn off the oven with a quiet click. The heat dissipates as I stand motionless, staring at the cake that no one will eat. "Honey, I'm so sorry." Mom approaches slowly, as if I might shatter. "This isn't right." I don't cry. Instead, I slip off my apron and fold it precisely, creasing the edges with my fingernails. I guess it didn't matter. "It matters to me," Mom whispers. I study the dark chocolate masterpiece, counting the hours spent researching diabetic-friendly recipes, testing ratios, measuring precisely so Grandpa wouldn't feel excluded from his own celebration. The cake sits in perfect, pointless Gloria monument to effort unappreciated and love unreturned. I run my finger along the edge of the cake stand. "What do we do with all this food?" "Let me think a bit. We will figure something out," Mom said. The certainty in her voice makes me look up. For the first time since the phone rang, I feel something other than a hollow ache. something that might eventually feel like possibility. 30 minutes later, Mom still stares at the dining room tableau 21 place settings with no guests to fill them. The careful perfection of it all seems almost cruel now. She sinks into a chair, phone still clutched in her hand, as if waiting for it to ring with an apology that won't come. "This isn't the first time," she whispers, more to herself than to me. I pause, appetizer tray suspended between counter and refrigerator. "What?" "Your grandfather's birthdays." Mom unlocks her phone again, fingers tapping through screens until she finds what she's looking for. "Every year since your grandmother died, I've paid. Remember last year? The backyard party with the tent rental?" The memory surfaces, rain pounding the white canvas, knees scrambling to move food inside while Uncle Craig complained about the weather, as if Mom had personally arranged the storm. $800 for the tent, another $400 for the caterer when Craig said my cooking wasn't festive enough. And then, she stops, jaw tightening. He borrowed my business credit card for the liquor store. $300 of top-shelf whiskey that I never saw again. I slide the tray onto a refrigerator shelf, suddenly remembering details I'd overlooked. How Uncle Craig had called the caterer budget while drinking expensive scotch. How he'd pocketed Mom's card after signing the receipt. How no one had thanked her, not even Grandpa Walter. "Craig still has your card?" I ask. Emergency family expenses. Mom's laugh holds no humor. The emergency being he never wants to pay for anything himself. She rises, moves to the wall calendar where she tracks business expenses. Flips back through months, running her finger down columns of neat handwriting. Renaissance Hotel brunch in March. Steakhouse dinner in May. Craig's son's graduation party in June. Each word lands like a slap. "They charged you for all of those?" "Not they, Craig." Mom's voice hardens. "Walter enables it. The rest pretend not to notice." I think of Aunt Mary gushing over my gluten-free pastries at Easter while posting restaurant reviews the same afternoon. Cousin Peter complimenting my dairy-free chocolate mousse while never offering to help clean up. The pattern stretches back years Mom and I provide while others consume without acknowledgement. Mom's phone pings again. She glances down, her expression turning to stone. "What now?" I ask. She turns the screen toward me. Craig's wife's newest post. A close-up of chocolate lava cake at Farwell Bistro. Caption: "Much better than a home-cooked meal." The betrayal crystallizes, sharp-edged and undeniable. My specialty is chocolate lava cake recipe I perfected last summer, timing the molten center to the exact second. "She knows that's your signature dessert," Mom says quietly. "I made it for her birthday." The memory burns. 3 test batches to get the consistency right, staying up until midnight to prepare individual ramekins. Mom places her phone face down on the table. Her gaze travels over the cooling food, the hand-piped decorations, the cake stand with its borrowed turntable, that Miss Patterson trusted me to return tomorrow. "This isn't just about dinner," she says. I nod, throat tight. 3 weeks ago, I'd spent hours researching diabetic-friendly chocolate options, specifically for Grandpa Walter, comparing sweetener ratios, testing each batch for taste and texture. The abandoned cake represents dozens of small sacrifice sleep, money, time made without complaint. They value convenience over commitment, Mom says, giving voice to the realization settling between us. Over you. I expect the words to hurt, but instead, they clarify. The knot in my chest loosens slightly as truth displaces hope. Mom straightens, something resolute replacing the hurt in her eyes. She picks up her phone again, but not to scroll through more painful posts. Who are you calling? I ask. People who actually deserve this food. She pauses, finger hovering over the screen. Not for sympathy, for dignity. First, she calls our neighbors, the Hendersons, then Pastor Jim and his wife, Miss Patterson from the bakery. Within 15 minutes, Mom has invited 10 people. Within 30 minutes, that number rises to 15. Each call sounds less apologetic, more purposeful. The final call surprises me. Bailey? Mom says. It's Melissa Mitchell. My daughter prepared an entire dinner that just, well, plans changed. You mentioned you were visiting friends in town. Would you like to join us instead? Tessa made everything from scratch. She listens, a small smile forming. 7 o'clock? Perfect. I recognize the name as she hangs up. Bailey Parker? The food columnist? Mom nods. She was in last week for coffee, said she'd never tasted a better cranberry orange scone than yours. For the first time since Grandpa's call, warmth returns to my fingertips. Someone who appreciates food will eat my food. Someone who writes about dining experiences will sit at our table. Mom stands, surveying the dining room with new eyes. Let's reset for 15. I hesitate before the cake, its dark chocolate layers and perfect rosettes still gleaming under the kitchen lights. Should we cut it? Absolutely, Mom says. Let's share it with people who'll actually taste it. The doorbell rings at 6:45, sending my heart into my throat. I freeze in the center of the dining room, hands clutching fresh cloth napkins. No one is supposed to arrive until 7. Should I get it? Mom asks, placing the last water glass on the table. I will. I smooth down my pale yellow dress, the one I bought specifically for tonight, and tuck a loose strand of hair behind my ear. Mrs. Donovan stands on our front step, her arms cradling a potted orchid. Her silver hair catches the evening light, and the scent of her lavender perfume wraps around me like an old cardigan. Hope we're not too early, she says, handing me the plant. Richard couldn't wait another minute. He's been talking about your food since you brought those cinnamon rolls to the block party last summer. Mr. Donovan appears behind her, face lighting up when he spots me. There she is, the chef of the hour. The tightness in my chest loosens slightly. I step back, ushering them inside. The table looks magnificent, Mrs. Donovan whispers, taking in the dining room with wide eyes, like something from a magazine. I glance at the carefully arranged settings, the crystal glasses reflecting the soft light from the candles. It does look beautiful. A pang shoots through me as I think of Grandpa Walter seeing the Farwell Bistro instead of this, his loss. The oven timer beeps from the kitchen. My pulse quickens. Excuse me, I murmur, hurrying back to check on the roasted thyme chicken. The kitchen door swings open before I reach it. Mom backs through, balancing a tray of appetizers, her face flushed with concentration. They're already complimenting the table, I tell her. She nods, a small smile playing on her lips. Because it's worth complimenting. The doorbell rings again, and again, and again. Within 20 minutes, our dining room buzzes with conversation. Miss Patterson from the bakery chats with Mr. Abernathy from church about sourdough starters. The Donovans laugh with Mom's book club friends. 2 couples I've never met, friends of the neighbors, admire the hand-lettered place cards. I hover near the kitchen entrance, watching this collection of near strangers fill the space meant for family. They seem genuinely happy to be here. Need a hand? A woman with a silver streak in her dark hair approaches, extending her hand. I'm Bailey Parker, friends with the Martins. I shake her hand, noticing the camera hanging around her neck. Tessa Mitchell. The chef herself. Her eyes crinkle at the corners. Mind if I take a few photos? The presentation is stunning. Photos? Food columnist, she explains, tapping her camera. Local paper, a couple of magazines, old habitee document good food wherever I find it. My mouth goes dry. This is just home cooking. Bailey shakes her head, looking pointedly at the perfectly arranged canopies. Honey, there's nothing just about what you've done here. The oven timer beeps again. I excuse myself, grateful for the escape. In the kitchen, I stand before the closed oven, hesitating. What if they don't like it? What if I've misunderstood what makes food special? What if my family was right to choose a restaurant instead? Mom appears beside me, reading my thoughts. These people actually want to be here, Tess. I nod, squaring my shoulders. The oven door opens, releasing a cloud of rosemary-scented steam. The chicken skin glistens golden brown, exactly as I'd planned. When I carry the platter to the table, conversation stops. 15 pairs of eyes focus on the centerpiece of my 4-day cooking marathon. Good Lord, Mr. Abernathy whispers. Bailey lifts her camera, the shutter clicking rapidly. Did you really make this yourself? One of the neighbor's friends asks. I nod, fighting the urge to apologize or minimize. The rosemary is from our garden. Miss Patterson, who has watched me frost hundreds of cupcakes at the bakery, beams with unmistakable pride. Tessa has the steadiest hands I've ever seen in someone her age. The first slice reveals perfectly cooked meat, juice pooling on the warm plate. I serve each guest with careful precision, the way I imagined serving Grandpa Walter and Uncle Craig just hours ago. Mom catches my eye across the table and mouths a single word: beautiful. Bailey photographs each plate before taking her first bite. When she does, her eyes close briefly. "The thyme butter under the skin," she murmurs. "Genius." The room fills with appreciative murmurs. Not polite, obligatory compliments, but genuine sounds of pleasure. Mrs. Donovan closes her eyes with each bite. Mr. Martin asks what's in the sauce. Even quiet Mr. Abernathy, who rarely comments on anything, requests the recipe for his wife. For the first time since Mom's phone rang this afternoon, I smile. A real smile that starts somewhere deep and works its way outward. "Tell us about these roasted vegetables," Bailey says, indicating the colorful medley beside the chicken. "The glaze is extraordinary." Words flow easily as I explain my technique. No one interrupts. No one checks their phone under the table. Everyone listens as if my culinary choices matter. When I bring out the hand-piped lemon tarts, the dessert I created when I thought the cake would be for Grandpa, a spontaneous round of applause breaks out. "These are works of art," Bailey says, lifting her camera again. Miss Patterson leans toward her conspiratorially. "You should see what she can do with buttercream roses. Puts most of my full-time decorators to shame." My phone buzzes in my pocket. I ignore it, focused on serving dessert. It buzzes again, and again. During a lull, I check the screen. Instagram notifications flood my lock screen. Bailey has tagged me in a story close-ups of my food with the caption, "Discovering extraordinary talent in unexpected places. Remember this name, Tessa Mitchell." The comments multiply as I watch. Local chefs I recognize. Food enthusiasts from the Twin Cities area. Even the owner of a restaurant where Mom once tried to get me an apprenticeship. Bailey catches my eye from across the table and raises her water glass in a subtle toast. "Better than half the chefs I've reviewed," she says quietly. "And she's 16. The words settle over me, weightier than any grudging compliment from Grandpa Walter or Uncle Craig. This woman whose job is judging food thinks my cooking matters. Mom stands at the head of the table, raising her glass. "To new friends," she says, her voice steady and clear, "who recognize what's valuable when they see it." 15 glasses rise in response. 15 voices echo the sentiment. In the candlelight, surrounded by people who showed up on 2 hours' notice to celebrate a stranger's cooking, I feel something unfamiliar bloom inside my chest. Not the ache of trying to be enough, but the warmth of already being more than enough. The cake meant for Grandpa Walter sits forgotten in the kitchen. Tomorrow we'll slice it and share it with these people who chose our table. Today that choice feels like more than enough. A week later, the morning light streams through the kitchen window as I slide Bailey's business card into my recipe binder. Mom sits at the table, phone pressed to her ear, shoulders relaxed for the first time in days. "Yes, I need to cancel an authorized user from my business account," she says, her voice steady and businesslike. "Craig Mitchell, Mitchell. I pour orange juice into 2 glasses, setting one beside her notepad where she's been documenting yesterday's unexpected triumph. The bank representative asks questions and Mom answers with newfound confidence. "The last charge? Farwell Bistro, $1,156. She catches my eye and gives a small nod. "No, I did not authorize it." "Yes, I'd like to dispute the charge." I butter toast, listening to the quiet power in her voice. No tears, no apologies, just facts delivered with calm certainty. "How long will that take?" "Perfect. And you'll be sending a new card? Wonderful." She taps her pen against the notepad. "No, I don't need to add any new authorized users. Just me." Her phone buzzes with a text as she hangs up. She glances at it, then silences the ringer without responding. "Uncle Craig?" I ask, sliding a plate of eggs toward her. "Who else?" She takes a bite of toast. Apparently there's been a misunderstanding about the credit card. I sit across from her, watching sunshine catch the rim of my juice glass. Funny how misunderstandings only happen after they're caught. Mom laughs, a real laugh that reaches her eyes. "When did you get so wise?" The doorbell chimes before I can answer. Mom raises an eyebrow at me, but I shake my head. We're not expecting anyone. She returns moments later with an envelope. "It's for you. Hand, delivered by Mrs. Carlson from next door." Inside is a printed copy of Bailey Parker's latest blog post, titled, "Not All Tables Deserve a Seat." My name appears in the 3rd paragraph. described as a young chef with unmatched care and precision. The post details last night's impromptu dinner without mentioning our family drama. Instead, Bailey focuses on the technical skill behind each dish, the thoughtful pairing of flavors, the professional-level presentation. She calls you a rising culinary star hiding in plain sight. Mom reads over my shoulder, her voice catching. My phone buzzes with notifications. Bailey has tagged me in posts across 3 platforms, each featuring professional-quality photos of last night's food. Comments flood in from local restaurant owners, food enthusiasts, and several of yesterday's guests. Your bakery boss commented, Mom points out. She wants to talk about expanding your responsibilities. The phone rings again, Grandpa Walter this time. Mom declines the call without hesitation. He can leave a message, she says, returning to her breakfast. The voicemail notification appears seconds later. I tap the speaker button. Melissa, this is your father. His voice sounds unusually strained. People are asking about Tessa's dinner. Apparently some food writer was there? Craig's business associates are calling him. We should reschedule our family celebration. Call me back immediately. Mom deletes the message with a decisive tap. Amazing how quickly they noticed you when someone else saw your value. My phone chimes with a text from Aunt Susan. We should have been there to support your talent. Let's plan something special soon. I show it to Mom, who rolls her eyes. Yesterday you were too young for an adult dinner. Today, you're worth bragging about. The notifications continue as Bailey's post gains traction. Mrs. Patterson from the bakery wants me to develop a new line of dietary-specific desserts. A guest from last night asks if I'd cater their anniversary party. The local cooking supply store owner invites me to lead a demonstration on sugar-free baking. They're not just being nice, I whisper, still struggling to believe it. They actually want what I can do. Of course they do. Mom refills my juice. Your grandfather may not appreciate sugar-free dark chocolate cake, but plenty of people will. I scroll through comments praising my attention to detail, my flavor combinations, my plating techniques. None of these people are obligated to say nice things. None of them share my DNA. Their appreciation feels weightless, unburdened by family history or obligation. What do you think? Mom asks, nodding toward the phone. Ready to start building something that's entirely yours? I think about the cake stand still sitting in our refrigerator, the perfectly piped rosettes that no one from our family tasted. Then I look at the photos of strangers savoring food I created, their genuine enjoyment captured in Bailey's expert photography. I think I say, feeling a smile spread across my face, we need to clear some space in the refrigerator. I have new recipes to test. At the present, Melissa's phone vibrates against the kitchen counter for the 7th time in an hour. Walter's name flashes on the screen, joining the parade of missed calls from Craig, his wife Denise, Aunt Mary, and 3 cousins. She turns the phone face down and continues chopping vegetables for dinner. They're really not giving up, are they? Tessa looks up from the marinade she's whisking, her voice steady but her knuckles white around the whisk handle. Persistence runs in the family. Melissa transfers diced carrots to a bowl, though it seems to skip a generation when it comes to showing up for birthday dinners. Tessa's lips quirk upward, not quite a smile, but close. 3 weeks have passed since the birthday dinner fiasco. 3 weeks since Bailey Parker's blog post turned Tessa's private disappointment into a public triumph. 3 weeks of the family scrambling to rewrite history. The landline rings, making them both jump. Few people have that number anymore. Hello? Melissa answers, wedging the receiver between ear and shoulder. Missy, you've got to be reasonable about this. Craig's voice booms through the line. Dad's blood pressure is through the roof. He says you're breaking his heart. Melissa catches Tessa's eye and puts the call on speaker. How fascinating that his heart only breaks when he faces consequences. She sprinkles salt over the cutting board. Not when he stands up for his granddaughter after she spent 4 days cooking for him. It was a misunderstanding. Craig's voice shifts to the reasonable tone he uses with difficult clients. These things happen in families. We forgive each other. Do we? Because I remember driving 3 hours to bring Dad his favorite soup when he had bronchitis last winter. No misunderstanding there. You're being vindictive. And you're calling from the new phone you bought with my business credit card. Melissa checks the time. Right after charging lunch at Bellini's. Interesting choice for someone worried about Dad's blood pressure. The silence stretches before Craig sputters. That show did you. The card company calls me about unusual charges now. Imagine that. After Craig hangs up, Tessa says, Aunt Denise texted me again. Says I'm being too sensitive and should think about how this affects the whole family. The whole family seemed comfortable enough at Farwell Bistro. Melissa slices a bell pepper with precise, forceful chops. Her phone vibrates with a text. Walter, please call. Doctor says stress isn't good for my heart condition. Melissa snorts. The heart condition that didn't prevent him from eating tiramisu at the restaurant. The doorbell rings. Tessa widens her eyes at Melissa. You don't think they'd just show up? But the woman on their porch isn't Craig or Walter or any of the usual suspects. It's Emma, Melissa's younger sister, clutching a bottle of wine and looking uncharacteristically nervous. Sorry I didn't call first. Emma brushes hair from her face. I figured you might not answer. Melissa hesitates, then steps aside. We're just making dinner. Emma follows them to the kitchen, placing the wine on the counter. She watches Tessa return to her marinade without greeting her. I owe you both an apology. Emma leans against the counter. I've watched them do this to you for years and I never said anything. Melissa's knife pauses mid-slice. You knew? Everyone knows. Emma stares at her hands. Craig always arranges things so you pay or cook or clean up. Walter complains when you're not there but barely acknowledges when you are. She looks up. I should have spoken up sooner. Tessa sets down her whisk. Why didn't you? Because it was easier. Emma's voice catches. As long as they were taking advantage of your mom, they weren't focusing on me. The truth hangs in the kitchen air, sharp and clarifying. Later that night, after Emma leaves with tentative plans to visit again, Melissa opens her laptop. She creates a new email addressed to the entire family, adding Craig's wife and Walter's girlfriend to the recipients list. The words come easily, now no dramatic accusations, just calm facts. She documents the credit card charges, $1,156.8 for Farwell Bistro, $214.32 for Craig's new phone, $86.79 for lunch at Bellini's. She lists the 4 consecutive 4:30 a.m. wake-ups Tessa endured to prepare food no one ate. She attaches the notification from her credit card company confirming Craig's card has been terminated. The final paragraph takes shape under her fingers. We've seen how we're valued. Please don't contact us again. Her finger hovers over send for only a moment before pressing down. The message disappears into cyberspace, and something else disappears with it, the weight of obligation she's carried for decades. The next morning, Walter's birthday invitation arrives in the mail. Exclusive dinner at Benjamin's Steakhouse, the embossed card announces. Black tie required. Melissa drops it into the recycling bin without comment. Her phone pings with a notification. One of Craig's business associates has seen Bailey's article and wants to book Tessa for a corporate event, their first professional catering gig. The fee offered would cover half a semester at culinary school. Look, she passes the phone to Tessa. They contacted you directly. Tessa reads the message, her expression shifting from surprise to cautious pride. They didn't even mention Grandpa. They don't care about Walter. Melissa squeezes her daughter's shoulder. They care about you. Tessa nods slowly, then stands straighter. I should call them back. Melissa watches her daughter walk to the kitchen, already making notes about menu options. The family's influence diminishes with each passing day, replaced by opportunities based on Tessa's talent rather than obligation. The quiet satisfaction of success without family validation settles around them like a comfortable blanket. When the phone rings again, Walter's number, Melissa doesn't even glance at the screen before declining the call. 3 months later, Tessa adjusts the placement of the rosemary sprig atop her roasted garlic focaccia, angling it slightly to catch the afternoon light streaming through the kitchen windows. She steps back, surveying the spread before her, a tableau of colors and textures that would have impressed even the pickiest food photographer. How's it looking? Melissa calls from the dining room where she arranges hand-carved wooden platters her woodworking class created specifically for Tessa's presentations. Almost ready. Tessa tucks a loose strand of chestnut hair behind her ear, leaving a faint dusting of flour on her temple. 3 months have transformed her movements in the kitchen, no more second-guessing or hesitation, just the confident rhythm of someone who knows exactly what she's doing. The doorbell chimes. Melissa opens it to greet Bailey Parker, whose food column now regularly features snippets of Tessa's culinary experiments. Something smells divine. Bailey hands over a bottle of sparkling cider. Is that your herb-crusted lamb I've been hearing about? Tessa nods, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. With the mint yogurt sauce you suggested. In the kitchen, Tessa directs Jasmine and Marcus, 2 culinary students who now assist at her weekend gatherings. She doesn't raise her voice, that doesn't need to. A quiet plates need warming or more microgreens on the fish is all it takes. They move around her like planets orbiting a sun, anticipating her needs before she voices them. The Hendersons just pulled up, Melissa announces, admiring how her daughter doesn't flinch or rush at the news. The old Tessa would have panicked about timing. This one simply nods and continues piping a delicate lemon curd into tartlet shells. The dining room, once set for 21 ungrateful relatives, now welcomes 16 people who chose to be here. The origami napkins remain Tessa's signature touch, but the stiffness of obligation has vanished. In its place, the warm hum of conversation fills the room. Mrs. Patterson from the bakery raises her glass. To our resident chef, who would have thought when you borrowed my cake turntable that you'd be teaching me new techniques 3 months later? Laughter ripples around the table. Tessa blushes but doesn't look away as she once might have. Remember when you thought your chocolate ganache had split? Bailey asks, eyes twinkling. And now you're teaching a workshop on it next month. Speaking of teaching, Melissa adds, tell them about Lily. Tessa serves the final course, a trio of desserts arranged like a painter's palette. She's 12 and wants to learn pastry. Her mom can't afford classes, so we bake together on Tuesdays. The pride in her voice has nothing to do with seeking approval. It's the quiet confidence of someone who has found her place. Later, as guests linger over coffee, Tessa slips into the kitchen. Melissa follows, finding her daughter preparing a small cake hidden in the refrigerator. What's this? Melissa asks. Your birthday's not for 2 weeks, but Tessa reveals a simple cake adorned with hand-painted chocolate flowers, for the woman who taught me what family really means. Melissa blinks rapidly, touching one of the delicate petals. It's beautiful. Like the people at our table now, Tessa's voice stays steady, the ones who choose to stay. When they carry the surprise cake to the dining room, the spontaneous applause washes over them both. Tessa doesn't announce that she used her first catering payment to buy her mother the woodworking tools she'd been eyeing for months. That's for tomorrow's breakfast conversation, another tradition they've created for just the 2 of them. Melissa raises her glass, voice clear in the warmth of their chosen family, to the people who matter at our table. To the table that matters, Tessa amends softly, and the words ring true in a way no family dinner ever had before.